So establishing credibility, we talked about being a franchise versus a startup or independent. So, Lachelle, you actually never really answered the question. What do you think? Do you think? Oh, you said CRW. I said franchise versus independent. What do you recommend? And then you start talking about the database.
Oh, I thought you had asked me something a little bit different, but franchise, what was the question again? And I'm sorry.
That's okay. How important is establishing credibility when just starting out, either with a name recognition real estate company or going independent? Did we talk about that yet a little bit?
Okay. And I'll jump in on that one. Yeah, I'll jump in on that one, Tom. Actually, we had purchases. We jumped into the business with the Century 21 franchise, but I can tell you, things are different now. Back some time ago in this industry, name recognition was fairly important, and I'm talking about prior to the internet. Okay. But now that the internet is here and has been here since 2000 or so, it's not as important. Name recognition is not as important because the thing that it was providing was exposure and some marketing, more marketing capability. But that's all even out now. Now that any company can get on the internet, look just as long, and many times you can do without it.
Since Century 21.
What's that?
How long were you with Century 21?
So that contract was for 10 years. And so we did 10 years with Century 21. And then when I got exposed to NARAB, I realized how many people were running independent companies, and some of them were pretty large. Don't get me wrong, a franchise can maybe help you grow agents and some other things. It can do that. I'm not going to make light of that point.
Right.
But at the end of the day, depending on what you're doing, everyone you don't have to have a franchise. That's my point.
Yes, and if I can just piggyback in,
sure.
And I guess I maybe got the question a little bit tangled, so I'm sorry, and that's what I was saying from a pretty much an independent perspective, as being one of those small pop kind of shops that Gerald is referring to, is the credibility for me was coming from that big franchise of Keller Williams, right, and making all of my business moving with me because they appreciated me as their agent. And so that's what I was saying, where the company name today doesn't really matter. It's more about the relationship that was good for me.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, so we have
It got dark in here on me, so I'm gonna try.
Yeah, I know. I was like, man, that 10 minutes is taking a little bit more time. That's okay. We're glad that you were able to join us, Gerald. So
Okay.
now let's get into the sales aspect, because I think like you said, a lot of times people, when you're starting something new, you're really energetic, you're all gung-ho. And I think with real estate or, any other business, but real estate is a little bit different because you have to pay for those board fees, you have to take the test. So you're going to have to invest a little bit of money. And you have some people who they were struggling just to come up, pay for the test and the board fees. And what advice would you give like a really struggling agent that doesn't have like a lot of cash flow and they need to get some sales under the belt really quickly, like they're kind of on like this 30-day, I got 30 days and something has to happen. Do you recommend they go to a franchise or join a team so they don't have to pay additional costs, like the marketing costs, like the signage and business cards and that type of thing?
And actually, you do whatever you have to do. If you have to join a team, then do that, because that'll get you that'll get you into the business, get you going, and maybe reduce some of those fees. But then my thing is that in the first 30 days, you should be calling everyone you know, anybody who you know that's in your sphere of influence. Talk to them, tell them you're in the business. Hey, do they know anyone that's looking to buy or sell a house? And I'm telling you, I would tell agents, don't even come into the office until you talk to some people and got yourself in a deal. Because without an active transaction, there's nothing really that I can teach you some things. But that's just book knowledge and some textbook work. When you have a real live deal, there's so much more that you can learn. But at the end of the day, if they do that, they'll have great success in getting started. And then even today, my sphere of influence, I still generate a lot of business out of it. It's a great place to start. But you have to be real aggressive with it and contact everybody you know, get on the phone, go see some of these homes that have expired that were on the market and that kind of thing. And then develop your skill set as you go. Your scripts, how do you talk to these people? What should you be saying? Being prepared. I used to tell people when I first started, the agents used to tell me like, yep, Dixon, we're going to tell them you knew. Or I worked part-time. I worked at Chrysler. And they said, Dixon, we're going to tell them you part-time. I said, look, I don't care what you tell me. But for one thing, you had better be good because I'm going to be good. And so, at the end of the day, if an agent has skills, if they're knowledgeable, if a customer can see they're professional, they'll overlook just about anything. If you bring it.
And I agree too. That's a big part of it because I teach full time right now, and there's quite a few teachers that sell real estate or insurance or whatever else in the summer. So that's another option people have. But how long did you stay with Chrysler before you made the transition to do sales full time? Because we can talk about that income stream as well. Because that's a lot of people don't want to make that leap until they feel comfortable financially, with starting a full time business.
And I actually did it for a number of years, maybe 10 years.
Okay.
Literally, I think I did it for 10 years before we opened up our own company. Matter of fact, I had the luxury of having my wife in the business with me as well. So we made a decision that we would open the company up with her leaving her job because she was working at another company, and I would stay for a couple of years. And then after we did that and we started having the success that we had laid out on paper, it was like, okay, let's go for it. And so that's kind of how it went.
And, by that time, in that 10 years, had you replaced your income at that time, or were you exceeding your income?
And I was right at my income.
Okay.
I was doing, I was right. At that time, I was making about $100,000 at Chrysler, and I had my real estate business generating at least that. And I had to make a decision, okay, to continue to grow this, you're going to have to come on in full time because we had quite a few agents in the office at that point. Okay. Had over 30 agents. And I was like, okay, if you're going to manage this, then you're going to have to come on in here and do that.
Okay, that makes sense. So you did this for 10 years, and then Michelle, how did you start your business? Did you come in full time, or did you start part time?
No, I came in full time. I had just I had a baby, and I wanted to do something that I could do from home.
Okay, so you want some flexibility.
Yes, absolutely. My son was actually about 2 years old when I actually went in, started doing the classes, getting ready to do my, tests and things of that nature. And I would go into the office sometime. Back then, Joe was talking about it, but back then it's not, in those business cards, before we even went into the office, we had to give out 10 new business cards a day. That's what we were told as a new agent. I don't know if Joe remember that, or you, Nancy, but remember you had to contact 10 people a day, go meet them at the grocery store, wherever you had to meet them, you had to give out those 10 cards before you got in. And so, but then I could do a lot of work from home too. So that's pretty much how I started.
So you started as like a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah, I started at home. Yeah.
Okay, great. So if you had to give one piece of advice to a rookie agent, what would that be?
Mine would be, I would say script and dialogue, training, kind of practicing what you're doing with people. I think that's really because, let me be honest, I would, you get these people, then you go get ready to meet them, and then you're a rookie, you're by yourself. A lot of times you don't even know what you just say. You be so nervous. That's how I remember. I was like, what? And then the man, he just like quiet, just took away the conversation. I'm like, great. He loved me, right? But he loved me only because he liked to be he liked to be the talker, right? Oh. Yeah, but my presentation was good, but still, I could have did a lot more practicing, and then I could have been, again, a lot more diligent, coming in with, just being prepared with my brand, too. Like I said, those business cards, it's important.
Yeah, it's like, a lot of times, like, people aren't even really listening to what you're saying until you get over that presentation hurdle. Because it's like, you have to look the part, even if you know you in the inside, you're not the part. That's like another reason to have a team, is it builds that confidence, because you're kind of walking in with your group, your posse or whatever, and they're not like the host. You're not, you're not by yourself, you're not up here biting your nails while you're in the car waiting and all that other stuff. And you can't get that question, well, how long have you been in the business?
Right.
How long have you been in the business? So once you start getting that question, it's down. When people used to ask me that, they say, I work with a team of professionals who have a lot more experience than me, and you just go on with the conversation. Right. You don't have to let that stop you, because I think sometimes people try to intimidate you to feel, figure out if you're for real or not.
Right.
So once you get past that hurdle and you look the part, looking the part is, like, to me, the most important thing, because like with that, with the real estate, it's like what kind of car you drive. It's like a lot of superficial stuff that has nothing to do with
it's your brand. It's your brand.
Exactly.
Yes. And also, one of the things that I would really recommend, suggest, is really trying to hone down a niche. I think a niche is really good, instead of trying to get out there and get all this. Exactly. If I was out there, I was just, put down. I had some great training, but if I could do it all over again, I would hone in on that niche, because that niche is really where it's at. It's you know what you're doing. You're the expert.
Yeah, being an expert.
Yes,
they can
start early. Just
get
in there and get it, man. Figure out what you do best, what you really like.
Yeah, and then to be that expert, that just is like, you're number one, you can't be replaced. Because there's a line in Contagion, which is one of my favorite movies, and especially it's appropriate for this time and age. And Lawrence Fishburne was one of the major actors, and his character played a major role. And they told him at the end of the movie, he was like working in, the equivalent of a CDC, and they're like, we want to fire you, but we can't find somebody else to replace you. So it's like, hey, you're the expert, and like, hey, I'm it. There's nobody else but me. They were like, oh, okay. And it was actually at the West Bloomfield office. There was an agent who, his name was, I'm not gonna say his name, but Larry was his first name. And he was one of the #1 agents. And when he started out, he was saying, he'd go to a listing and he would leave. And we was like, it's a women, you're gonna leave our house. Right. And he used to take the old-fashioned measuring tapes, and he would start he would start measuring every room in the house. And they were like, this man is not leaving their house. And they would just wanted him to get out of here. Right. Oh, they say, like, a lot of times the listings, most people, who wants to go through that 2 times? So they usually list with the first person they use on the treasury station. A lot of sales is not what you know, it's who you know, what kind of connections you have, and relationships that you build. I mean, and it crosses industry. It's not just real estate. It's insurance, and it's other fields as well, financial planning. So it comes down to relationships. So that's one nice thing about the certification program. We certify. That's one of the things we tell you ahead of time. We get 5 contacts before you even start. So if you want to have that first sale in 30 days, hey, you need to do some pre-launching work ahead of time before you have your open house or your, coming out as this new professional. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do on the back end to get ready, and not just day one, like coming into the real estate. What do I do now?
Right.
And so that's why when Gerald said, don't even come to the office without your first contract, that's how you get your first contract in 30 days. Hey, I'm gonna sell something soon. I'm not gonna have any food to eat in a month.
Right.
So I think that's what really makes you hungry and aggressive.
Absolutely. But we were always told, if you're in the office, not doing business.
Oh,
yeah.
Because
the business was out in the field. It was out searching for people, making those contacts. So now I guess it's connecting through social media and things of that nature. So that's where I come in today. It's about the brand. And that's why, I think it's really about the brand. There might be 2, 3, I would even say between what you and I just talked about and Gerald today, 5 top things for, when you're coming in, that database, showing up, looking at the cars, So a lot of things that they don't teach you.
Absolutely.
They don't teach you that. They just teach you the basics.
Well, the thing is, there's something you already know.
Exactly.
A business owner that you may not necessarily know.
Yeah. That's the great reason for organizations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, good. This was great. We're going to go ahead and end the session. Let's see. I want to add anything else. I'm kind of going impromptu because I was looking at my questions. You have the questions in front of you. Is there anything that I missed?
Let's see.
We covered everything?
I think you did.
Okay, sounds good. Mike, do we have anybody in the waiting room right now?
It's Justice and Gerald.
Okay. All right, Gerald. Well, thank you so much. That's all the info we need. We want you to rest up. We appreciate you joining us today. I guess Mike, he can hang out if he wants to. I'm about to start the financial services. I will contact Dale and see if he's still coming on. Graves says I didn't send him the Zoom information, but he just told me, like, driving up here, he was going to be coming in via Zoom and not in person. So let me send Dale a quick text, and then I am going to.
We can talk about how do we increase our knowledge and how do we overcome self-check.
So just okay. So increase knowledge. Yeah, I think increased knowledge, that was part of the increased knowledge that was part of the trade organizations, and also, you can know everything, know everything and still not sell anything. So yeah, overcoming sales objections. I do want us to cover this one thing, Mike. This will only take a couple more minutes. All right, so, Michelle, one sales objection I talked was, you being new and people knowing you're new. I guess like your circle of influence. You just came out of XYZ industry, or, in your case, you were a stay-at-home mom. And how did you overcome those objections of you're new, you don't know what you're doing?
No, exactly what I told you before. It's those scripts. Williams had a script for everything.
They did.
Every situation. I used to know those scripts, and then you just start to practice and say them so much that then you put your own, you put your own little flair into it.
Yeah.
You start coming into your own the more you practice it. And that's not the role, and that's with the phone in person.
Right.
Now you're not off.
You're not nervous.
Yeah.
And when I tell people, because some people think, oh, that's corny to use a script. I said, most professionals use scripts. It's professional to use a script. I said, your doctor probably uses a script, because most of the time you go to the doctor, they say, well, tell me what's wrong. Yeah. That's a script. That's why they all say the same thing. And then they're trained to give you the worst case scenario. So if it's not as severe, then you can relax. But that's what they're trained to do.
Exactly.
So it's scripted.
Right. And like I said, the more you practice it, that script then becomes second nature.
Right. And then at that point, when it becomes second nature, you're developing your own brain.
Exactly.
So, you have to know, within yourself, okay, I'm kind of done with the franchise. I will agree that Keller Williams has an excellent franchise training program, because I was very well trained at Keller Williams as well. But I think you come into your own and you're like, you know what, I got this now.
Yes.
You're ready to, you know, have your own wings.
Yes.
And take charge of
You're
your own.
empowered, yes.
Yeah.
You just get good at what you do.
Right.
Amazing, yes.
Yeah, but with the Keller Williams, and like I said, I was in West Longville, I still feel like the relationships are valuable because I feel like it was a very lonely process, you know, because I was a rookie agent, I was all by myself, and had I had that team like support, like you said, I think it would take me a lot further. And,
Yes.
you know, a lot of times rookie agents, they don't want to join a team because they feel like they're sharing your commission. But like you said, making some money is better than not making any money.
Right.
So,
And that's a great way to get over sales objectives as well.
Absolutely.
Sharing things with your peers.
that's why I said I work with
Yes.
a team of very
Yes.
experienced professionals.
Yes,
You know, so that's
especially
why.
when they know that they have a stake, you know,
Mhm.
we gotta help them get over these, you know.
Right,
these
to get
things
that
right,
sales.
get
Yeah.
these sales because it helps our team.
Exactly.
So the team, that collective success,
Mhm.
it's nothing like it. And I believe if every rookie could come on board and just get in with the team, just to start even for the first 90 days.
Yeah.
Oh
You can,
my God.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could,
But
just like a
it's-
handshake,
Yes.
work it out however you want to. But I don't even think 90 days, because you have to learn everything
You
need
may
to know.
not.
Because you only learn that you
Yeah.
might have 2 or 3 sales transactions in
Yes.
90 days. I personally
Say
feel like
a
a
year.
year.
I was
I
a year, but
a year.
my whole point was just at least give it 90 days because by the time 90 days I'm on your booked.
Yeah, but you
Once I got on the team, I didn't want to get off the team.
Yeah.
That money just was kept coming in, but it also made you more accountable.
To
Because
the team.
you had to also keep that money coming into that
Right.
team too, because there
Right.
was accountability. And that's what rookie, all professionals need, right? Is that more accountability.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, once you do go independent or you're on your own, and you're
Yeah.
an independent business owner, it's like,
You got
if you're not
That's right.
disciplined
You're not-
and you have, maybe a little bit of money stashed, you're like, oh, I don't have a boss anymore.
Yeah.
I can get up whenever I want.
Yes.
I can go to bed whenever I want. I have to wake up to the man. I don't have to set my alarm clock off anymore. And it's like, you're gonna be working harder
Right.
and probably making less money when you start your own business than
Exactly.
you working your 9 to 5. So
Exactly.
it's like, you better get up there and be ready to hustle.
You better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
I recently wrote a book called Fire Your Job, Be Your Own Boss. And from the book, I realized that a lot of business owners, especially new business owners, they need help. They don't necessarily know all the ins and outs of business because it's new to them and they're on a learning curve. Because as a business owner, you're not just selling your product or concept, you're also running the business. So you're in charge of human resources, people calling, customer complaints. You're in charge of product quality. You're in charge of people management, hiring staff, payroll. So these are all parts of owning your own business. It's not just the product or service that you're offering. You can either choose to hire people to do those things, but most of the time with new business owners, they do it themselves. The Hub Group comes in to help because we are a group of business professionals. We own our own businesses and we can help you put those pieces together. So the benefit of the Hub Group is that you have access to 8 to 9 different professionals who on your own, if you were to go to them, more than likely you could not afford them. We're offering you these products at a discounted rate in order to help you grow your business. If you're ready to jumpstart your business in 2020, hire the Detroit Business Hub Group and go to my website at nancyoneal.com.